All right, friends, what's going on? This is a live stream of basically what I'm calling an unboxing of the new Traktor Pro 3 software. I have yet to touch this at all. Literally, the only thing I've done is to install Native Access, which is Native Instruments' self-contained app that kind of runs all their updates and software downloads. Downloaded that update and then paid for the upgrade because I am a Traktor Scratch user already. So it cost $49. I went ahead and ran the update. I installed it, and now we're up and running, and that's literally the only thing that I've done other than just make sure that it comes up on the screen. And it did ask if it wanted to import my old collection and settings and all that stuff. So I went ahead and said yes, and then went through and zip, 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 just real quick, kind of imported all my music and all that stuff. But I haven't even listened to it yet. We're going to find out what's going on with this new Traktor software. So let me see here real quick. Okay, it does look like we are live. Excellent. If there is anything that you guys want me to test, just let me know. Post it up in the comments and then give me a moment to actually see it. And I'll test anything that I can here. But this is totally unplanned. This is just me, turning on the camera, going live, and seeing what we come up with. So I did want to make sure that the DVS stuff worked okay because that is now the Traktor Scratch thing is now built into the full Traktor Pro suite. So you don't actually need a separate program or license for that. So I wanted to make sure that that works because I do use the DVS, I do use timecode, and I have an old Mark II control vinyl here, and it is supposed to still work, so we'll find out. And I meant to hook up the CDJ, but I didn't, but that's okay. We can test the digital stuff over here. So let's see. It did pull up all of my playlists and everything there, so that's good. Let's go ahead and see if it wants to load a track. So if I push the browse knob, nothing is happening. So I think it thinks it's playing. So if I twist it, it works, but I don't see the browse on my screen, which is interesting. That should show me a list there. So maybe I need to do a firmware update or something like that. But let's see if we can actually load a track. We'll try this one. It does come up, but there's nothing on my screen. How interesting. Let's see if it actually plays. No? Okay. Let's see, are we in timecode mode? Alright, so we're already in trouble. So let's see if we can fix this, or else this will be the shortest live stream in Passionate DJ history. Audio, so it detects the Control S8. External routing, that's good. Timecode setup. So it does see my timecode, it's picking that up, but it's just not coming through the program. So being the nerdy IT guy I am, I'm going to do what they always tell you to do and just turn it off and turn it back on again before we get too crazy. Test, test. Okay, hopefully you guys can hear me. I'm routing my mic audio through the Traktor software, so you lost me for a second there. All right. So let's see if it's doing any better now. So, okay, now we've got stuff on the screen. So it just must have been feeling silly there. No big deal. We'll give it another try here. Deck is locked. Okay. So that's interesting. It's like playing right off the bat. I think maybe I've got a ground hum issue or something going on here. It just doesn't seem to want to play the timecode. Okay, so maybe we'll skip the timecode for now. Let me try this again real quick. Oh, there we go. Never mind. So we've got that. Do we have signal? Yes, we do. Don't hear it. Oh, yes, I do. Okay. So, sorry guys, give me just 1 second here. Okay, hopefully you're able to hear that. I think we're skipping here. I hope you're able to hear that okay. The way this is kind of set up, I can't hear the track without cueing it. I don't have like a master cue, and maybe there's a way to do that in the new Traktor, but I don't know how yet. So I think you can hear that okay. So we're playing. Track's going along. It responds to movement on the record, so that's good. Go ahead and give you guys a little bit of a close-up of the screen there. Seems like it's basically doing what it's supposed to do. So I've got my pitch adjustment locked in the middle there, and it's holding pretty steady at 119 BPM, probably as steady as this old Technics turntable is. So good, so that works. Let's do something strictly digital here. I'm going to check and see if there's any comments or questions really quick before we move on. Okay, thank you, Isis. You can hear it. Great. Mark asks if I'm on Mojave. No, I'm not. I'm still running High Sierra on this machine. We're just not trying to show off or anything, so I'm going to go ahead and hit that old blasted sync button. And bring this gain down so I don't blast you. Alright. So far, so good. 2 tracks playing at the same time. That's what you want DJ software to do, right? I'm going to let this get into the track a little bit, and then I'm going to see if what the filters sound like. I don't know if we've done anything new with the if Native Instruments has done anything new with the filters. Let's see what's on the What's New page from Traktor. So they say a new kind of sound. One second. A new kind of sound. From small systems to big festival rigs, we've made changes that will help you sound great. So let's see. They mention new Elastic 3 time stretching. That would be a good thing to test. So what we could do then is turn on, I love this track. We could turn on, what do you call it? Key lock. And then we could like take the tempo to one extreme or the other and see if it sounds crazy. Let's try that. Let's see. So key lock's already on. Give you a zoom here. Key lock is already on, and I'm just going to go over here and drag the tempo down. Hold on 1 second. Just trying to sync. Okay. Alright, so we're at minus 10%. I'm going to turn it up a little bit for you guys, and you can see what that sounds like at minus 10. It really does sound pretty good. Should we take it to further extremes? What do you guys think? This will probably let me go wide and do like a 100%. Let's see. I haven't even looked at the options panel yet. Oh, it's over here. Let's see. Yeah, that's playing pretty slow for this track, and it doesn't sound so, you know, when you have tracks that you slow way down, they start getting that, it sounds stretched out in that you can hear almost the blank space in the middle, where it sounds kind of gritty. It's like, brrr, it just kind of gets like echoey and weird, and I don't really hear any of that, which is kind of nice. But we're only at minus 10 too, so let's see, what do we got here? Decks. So I'm looking at the control panel now, and it looks pretty much like what you expect from Traktor, the classic Traktor. Everything is kind of laid out in the same way: audio setup, output routing, input routing, etc. So everything's kind of already where I expect it to be, which is helpful. And so let's look at, what am I looking for? Not Dex layout. Track Dex. Track BPM, blah, blah, blah. Transport current tempo range. Set tempo range to 100%. Okay, there we go. Let's get silly. Mark says those extremes are what's really going to push it. Yeah, let's give it a whack. So this might jump up in tempo when I grab it here, but okay. So even though key lock is on, you'll notice that the pitch changed there, and I think there's like a certain threshold at which I think it gives up, it seems like, because it was in key for a second and then it went out. So I'm gonna see if I can duplicate that. Here's the normal tempo. We'll slow it down. Okay, there the pitch hasn't changed yet. We're still in the same key, and we're at 104 BPM, so this is about minus 13%. Just keep kicking it down. Minus 16. There's minus 23. You're starting to hear the artifacting a little bit. I'll shut up for a second. All right, let's keep going with it. That's minus 23. There's minus 27, 30. We'll listen to 30 for a second. I've got to say it's pretty good. I've heard things pitched down to extremes like 30%, minus 30 before, and it doesn't sound that good. I mean, you can tell that something's happening now if you're really listening, but it doesn't sound like garbage like you would expect. They've actually done a really good job at this. Like, this still sounds like a kick and a snare, right? Let's keep bringing it down. Oh, okay, so now our pitch changed, see? So let's figure out where that happens. Interesting. So right around 32, 33, it gives up on the pitch correctness and it starts changing. But let's see how it sounds anyway. Yeah, what do you want? We're playing about literally half speed there, so I'd say that's pretty good. That's definitely improved. I've always thought Traktor's key lock was pretty good. It's time stretching, but this is definitely improved. I can tell the difference. Let's see, what else do we want to look at? Let's check the what's new. There's new mixer effects. We could look into that. Let's see, choose from 8 new mixer effects and 3 filters and assign them to a dedicated slot. So I'm using the Control S8, and I'm not sure exactly stock how you install. Like I said, I did absolutely no research. I kind of did that on purpose. Like, I like discovering this stuff at the same time as you guys do. So let's see, how do we get the, I guess if I don't know how to get the S8 to do it, I can just do it in the software. So they show, where do they show it? That's probably these right here. I'll zoom in for you. So we've got, under the traditional gain knobs up here, we now have what says filter, but if you notice there's a drop down. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but there's a drop down box. So if I select that, you have filter, reverb, dual delay, noise, and time gator. And I think that what this is meant to do is kind of be the same thing as, I don't have it over here, but on the Pioneer mixer you have the sound color effects, where it's kind of like one knob effects. I'm assuming it's replacing this filter knob. Yeah, okay, so if I wiggle the filter knob, it changes that. So it's basically replacing the dedicated filter knob on the Control S8 with the sound color effects like you would find on a Pioneer mixer. It would be like a single turn kind of thing. Let's pull up another track real quick just for some variety. Oh, we're still like half speed. All right. Okay, so what do we want to try effects-wise? Let's start with the filter. May as well, right? Because that's what I'm going to use the most as a DJ. I've talked about this on the podcast and stuff quite a bit before. I don't do a whole lot of effecty, crazy, wacky stuff. I occasionally do, but I use it more like tools. I like to do little builds and stuff, but for the most part, filters are where it's at for me. So let's see, and I don't know if it's kept my original settings, because historically Traktor has different EQ and filter models for, so it can, say, emulate the zone filters, which is my favorite because they're nice and quiet and subtle. So I'm assuming if it still has that, it's pulled my settings in. Let's skip to a more busy part of the song here. There, we can hear what the filters sound like here. So what I'm going to do is turn the filter on, and then I'm going to do a really slow high pass sweep and low pass sweep, and then I'll do a fast one first and then a slow one. So here's a quick one. Okay, so it's not too squelchy. You can hear it kind of in that. There's a certain range where you can hear the wah 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 sound. Right in there. And right in there. They sound great though. I complain about this all the time. I hate Pioneer filters. I just do. Like the sound color effects ones, they're like whoosh, they just have that really harsh like noise, resonant noise, and I don't really like that. So I like the way those sound for sure. Let's check those settings and see if we still got different EQ and filter models. Probably under mixer. Yes, exactly. So we've got the same thing that we've had before. We've got the ladder filter type, the zone filter type, and the Z. So let's change it to the zone, see if that sounds any different. Yeah, so you can tell this is the zone because it doesn't have any of that squelchiness to it. Listen real close. I'll rewind here a little bit. Listen how it just disappears. Just beautiful. You can get away with anything with filters that sound like that. We'll go ahead and do a low pass here too. See, it sounds like the track was designed that way. Perfect. I know they're not real zone filters, but they do what I want them to do. I guess I should do full kill here. This is what it does, full kill. If you turn it all the way to the left, the sound's gone. I still hear it a little bit on the high end, but... Okay, I guess it's not full kill. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but in my headphones, it's real quiet. There's still a bass line there. So not quite full kill.
Thank you, O Lord, for the white blind light. Thank you, O Lord, for the white blind light. A city rises from the sea.
I lost my settings panel.
I I had a splitting
Come on.
headache from which the
Quit
future
fighting me.
is
There we go. Okay, so let's try the Z filter type. Also really subtle. They're all kind of that way. I think the reason is because they have the actual, like in the filter effects, or the effects slots, they have filters there that are configurable. So these other knobs, assuming this works the way classic Traktor does, the other knobs here, you can adjust that resonance and stuff, or you might have heard it referred to as Q. That's where that squelchy sound comes from. So you can dial that in, but as a mixing tool, those all sound really good. Let's see, let's look at the Native Instruments site. You can hop, skip, and land on beat. It's not just effects that can power up your performance. Hold in the new reverse button to play a deck backwards. Because it works with flux mode, letting go will mean you jump to where you would have been had you done nothing at all. Okay, right? In perfect sync. Cool, so you can do reverse, you can scratch it, you can skip around. Made for DVS. So one thing that they really talk about also is just the UI design. And honestly, it's not terribly different. It has the, flat design, modern flat design cues like you expect from a modern interface, where, you don't have a lot of beveled edges or shadows or anything. Everything is kind of like, looks like a dark Windows 10, right? It looks really clean, looks really nice. It's supposed to be enhanced for live performance and situations, blah, blah, blah. They talk about, why they made the changes they did. These are not the standard colors that you would see on the waveform. I've changed those, so let's go ahead and change them, because I know some of you will probably want to see what it looks like with the full color waveforms, because you can better see some of the transients and the loud parts in here. So let's see, that's going to be under I can't remember. Track decks, remix decks. Decks layout, maybe? No, well. There is a way to do that. I'll figure it out here in a second. Let's get another track going so you guys aren't too bored while I'm figuring this stuff out. Secretly, I'm playing some of the same tracks that I played at the Sasha show that we talk about on the show all the time, so these are some of my recent favorites. Yeah, I'm sure there's a way to change those damn waveforms to the default. I'm just probably looking right over it. If somebody knows, post it in the comments. Yeah, Charles, I'm not using OBS. I know it's hard to see the screen. That's because I'm using a single camera shot to do this live stream. And that is a function that's built into this camera, and so I don't really have the option to use OBS or anything to give you an actual overlay of the screen. That's why, this is just kind of a rough and raw live stream thing. So when you're seeing the screen, what I'm actually doing is zooming in. It's like a digital cut. It's like cropping it out. So that's why it looks a little skewed and funny when I do that. So I apologize. Thanks, Mo Dingo. He said, nice headset. Yeah, this is the first time I'm trying out our new headsets. I haven't dialed them in or tweaked them or anything, so I just plugged it in and started using it. So I ordered a few, and Mo ordered a few as well for his show. So yeah, this is kind of a double unboxing test for me. All right. Let me know in the comments, everybody, if there's anything you want me to test or look at or try. Oh, here we go. Decks layout. under miscellaneous. Jeez. Okay. So it's on infrared now. Ultraviolet. That's infrared is what I had it on. X-ray. And spectrum. So spectrum's probably what everybody's used to. That's kind of the Serato style colored waveforms. So you'll notice the high parts, you know, are different color than the parts with the heavy transients and kicks here. Mo wants me to test the Spotify integration. Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? That's the interesting thing, though. You know, I've been talking a little bit on the show about wondering what's going on with streaming music and DJing, because I know a lot of people are playing with it, and Algorithm has kind of been leading the charge on that with their Spotify integration. But other places have tested other things like you know, Pulse Locker and you know, cloudy solutions like that. And Traktor didn't really have one yet, but they just announced that they're going to be doing SoundCloud. And a couple of places are doing, all the big software packages are doing SoundCloud integration, except for Rekordbox so far. And Serato's even doing Tidal now, which was interesting. It's a whole different place to look for music. So there's oops, I forgot to turn my heater off. Sorry about the noise, guys. Yeah, there's. I think the industry knows that this needs to change, because who actually buys music anymore? Probably just DJs, just because we kind of have to do what we like to do, you know? So it's kind of interesting to see all of a sudden everybody's doing SoundCloud integration and Tidal and Spotify, and we've seen a few of these, and I was just commenting to Mo earlier in a text message. It'd be interesting if SoundCloud manages to finally come into its own and save itself by becoming everybody's kind of cloud record crate. Be an interesting niche for them to fill. Turn this music up so maybe you don't hear that fan noise so much. Charles says, to be honest, I'll be opting my entire library out of streaming, meaning you're just not going to use it? What do you mean by that? You know, I get it. To me, it's going to depend on how good the actual integration is. I mean, if I can play with confidence, if I can play offline mode, if it doesn't ever have to call home in the middle of a gig at any point or download anything or stream anything on the fly, then I think I'm okay with using it, because then, if you think about it, you're just kind of adding the ability to, I don't know, take requests or pull something up random or whatever, but everything else would still kind of be the same if you would, like right now, I have a Spotify account, Spotify Premium, and I sync a lot of music to my phone or to my iPads or whatever, depending on where I use them, so that they don't have to pull from data all the time. And if you can do that and everything works just as good as it does as a digital file, I'm kind of okay with it, because it's just weird, because it's the only place that I don't actually use streaming is with DJing. But I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on that, Charles. I don't think that's being done with considerate respect to the artist. Understand. I have no retort against that one. All right, I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna turn this air off real quick. Be right back. All right, that'll kick off in a second. Sorry about that. Let's get another track going. I'm sure for the end user it's great. I'm not okay with the current way that it works for the artist. Yeah, I hear you, man. It's a tricky thing to navigate. The streaming and digital and copyright and everything. I mean, this is a struggle that we've been dealing with since the early 2000s. And the industry just keeps trying to figure it out, how to pay the artist, how to properly give credit and attribution and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure I'm just preaching to the choir at this point. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to test here. Guess we could do remix decks. Make sure that's all working okay. Let me see. How can I get to a So everything on the S8 looks how I remember. They haven't really changed the interface or anything there. Thankfully, you wouldn't really want them to suddenly do that. Here's a remix set right here. Sync it up. Maybe. Oh, duh. Here we go. What am I missing here? So I see it playing, but I don't hear it playing. So I've got my faders up on the remix decks. I've got my fader up on the remix decks channel. Oh, but it's, let's see, it doesn't show up on the screen. Fascinating. Let's go back to our settings again. Or actually, maybe we can go down here. Remix deck. So now it looks like a remix set. Let's just try loading it again. Oh, it's loaded it up. I loaded it in deck A. Jeez. Well, that's good enough. We can do that too. Okay, now it's working. So that clap is a remix deck. All right. Change it up here. Seems to be doing what it does. Let's try out some of these other effects. Let's see what else is there on these new mixer effects. So there's a reverb. Let's give that one a whack. I'm going to kill the other track so you can hear just the reverbed one. That's just a little bit of reverb. It's just a little bit of knob rotation, I mean. I'm at like 1 o'clock or 1:30 here. I'm gonna crank it up a little more. Sounds nice. Yeah, sounds really good. What else we got? Dual delay. I do not even know what that means. I assume it's going to have 2 echoes in it, but let's find out. That was interesting. So we dropped audio for a second. Let me know if you guys can still hear me. I think you can. So let's try dual delay again. Oh, cool. That's interesting. I like it because so far they're not super crazy. I like that everything is like, it gives you the option to ease into it, whereas Pioneer just likes to slam shit in. It's just annoying to me. And we've got a noise. That's another one that comes in very suddenly on a Pioneer mixer, so we'll try that. Oh, yeah, it comes in pretty hard. This is as little as I can move the knob. Yeah, that's a little much for me. And I think I'm going to test this last effect. And then without really digging in anymore, that's probably good for an unboxing. So let's see. This is the time gator. Oh, that's nice. So this is full bore right here. We'll grab a loop there, and we're just, look, ready-made techno. All set. Now we can be button pushers and knob twisters all we want. Cool. So far, so good, other than that one weird little glitch that we had where the audio dropped. I don't know if I'm ready to blame Native Instruments for that or not. That could be very well something that I've got going on over here. I mean, I didn't so much as reboot my computer before posting this or anything, so I just, slapped everything together and started going. So I'm not going to be too judgmental of that little hiccup quite yet. I'm going to spend some more time with this and play it, a couple of like hour-long sets, make sure that it actually holds up. And it might be, maybe they want me to upgrade to Mojave. I haven't even done that on my Mac yet. So we'll give it a try, see what it sounds like, make sure that I can kind of stress test it before I trust it taking it out anywhere or playing on a live stream other than an unboxing. So I think that pretty much is going to cover at least the initial basics. Remix decks work, as far as I can tell. The looping's working, everything's playing, sound comes through, and the new time stretching sounds great. New onboard effects really sound pretty great. I'm pretty happy with that, and hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments if there's any other things that you would like to know about the new Traktor or anything that you've discovered. I would love to hear it. Thank you guys. Peace.